All right, now we booming. Okay, I keep saying that all the time there, but it's an old habit of mine.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
know there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Arknolia and the Doctor. This is episode 24 of our Music Memory series. And tonight we're going to be taking a look at something that was kind of like a big thing throughout the 1960s with acts like Jan and Dean, the Beach Boys, and a whole cast of others. And it still carries on to this day, but it's usually mostly with reggae and a couple other bands like Blink 182, if I understand, being the staple for this genre. You know, I'm talking about surf music.
Yeah, and
Surf.
we'll also delve a little bit into hot rod music,
Oh
which
yeah,
is similar. I mean, not similar, but generally done by a lot of the same groups.
absolutely. The band, we're talking about cars, we're talking about, automobiles, and there's a lot of them out there, talking about how much they love their automobiles. Talk about other people's automobiles as well. I mean, like, there was a whole bunch of them. Like, there was I'm in Love with My Car by Queen. There was Jesus Built My Hot Rod by Ministry back in 91, 92. And there was a lot of songs about this here, about the automobile there. In fact, it fits to say that I remember that Al Jorgensen from Ministry, I guess, he admits that the reason they wrote the song is because the car often at times is regarded as not just a vehicle but a god. When you look at it, we'll be taking a look at that perspective later on this evening here.
Well, we're going to start with the instrumentals mainly from the 60s and the
Yeah,
50s.
yep. And probably one of the bands out there we gotta definitely gotta acknowledge, of course, are the Ventures.
Oh, yeah, that's probably got to be the biggest one of that genre.
Oh man, my dad had a couple of eight tracks from those guys, had a couple of vinyl albums from them, and just as well. And they recorded a lot of instrumental stuff there, couple of covers here and there, a couple of originals here and there, just as well.
Actually, I think if you look it up, they released oh gosh, probably 50 albums or more.
Wow, absolutely, wow, definitely. And I don't know if they're still together or if they're still together. Any members are if they're still around, such and such. I think they may be, but I think it may have one original member there. It was an instrumental rock band formed in Tacoma, Washington by Bob Wilson and Bob Bogle. The band, a quartet for most of its existence, helped popularize the electric guitar sound in the U.S. and across the world during the 1960s. While their popularity in the States waned in the 1970s, the group remains still revered in the country of Japan, where they do still tour regularly to this day. The
Wow.
classic lineup was, of course, Bob Wilson, Bob Bogle, um, who was the lead guitarist who later switched to the bass guitar, Noki Edwards, who was on bass but switched to lead guitar, and Mel Taylor on the drums. Now, their first well known single, Walk Don't Run, gained international fame for the group and is often cited as the top songs recorded for the electric guitar in the 60s and early 1970s. 38 of the band's albums charted in the US, ranking them at the sixth best album chart performer throughout the 1960s. And the band had 14 singles on the Billboard Top 100 with over 100 million records sold. They're
Yeah, I knew it
considered,
was a lot of them
yeah, a lot of them, and they are considered one of the best selling instrumental rock groups of all time.
easily. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not really sure how many albums they released, but I know there were a lot of them.
Yeah, Lord. In fact, they were considered the band that launched 1,000 bands, according to one journalist there, whose name I forgot. In fact, this recording of Walk Don't Run was inducted to the Grammy Hall of Fame for its everlasting impact, and in 2008 they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there.
Phone.
Yeah.
Uh, and the song was so big that they actually released a remake of it in 1964.
Yeah, no.
called Walk Don't Run 64.
Uh-huh, exactly. That's what that was a that was a common thing back at time. I remember Jerry Lee Lewis recorded it whole lot of shaking going on for one record that he released it later on.
Yeah.
But this one, this version, from what that I heard, basically had a female backup vocals there. I'm like, huh, who, he, and
Yeah, where
it's
did that come from?
I have no dang clue, man. Give me a break.
and and actually they're also famous for doing the theme to Hawaii Five-O.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The original Hawaii 50
Right.
it should be back
Well,
from the
yeah.
1970s, not the revamped version that we have now on CBS TV at around this time.
Right.
Yeah.
But some of the instrumentals, big ones.
Yep.
There's one by the group called the Champs called Tequila, which you're probably
We all know
familiar with.
like the back of our hands. Absolutely. That Pee Wee Herman somewhat danced to in his first movie, Pee Wee's Big Adventure from 1985. Who cannot forget that scene?
Right. Yeah. And then another big one from, well, that late 50s was a pretty good song, actually, by Santo and Johnny.
I don't think I heard of that. Yeah.
Sleepwalk.
Oh my gosh, I know which song you're talking about. I heard that song, but I just didn't know who performed that. I think Larry Carlton, a jazz guitar player, did his version that charted in early 1980s, I guess.
Yeah. Now, they were actually the authors of that song.
The writers of it actually. So
Yeah.
they must have gotten got a lot of royalty money for that song being recorded by Larry Carlton, I guess.
Oh, and others covered it too.
Oh,
Ventures, for one.
oh wow. See, a lot of those songs are often covered by many artists around that
Oh,
period
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You just didn't do one version. There was a couple others that would do theirs just as well there. Like if you, for instance, the song "Respect," which Aretha Franklin did. Apparently, it was done first by a band called Scott Morgan and the Rationals, a Detroit-based band around the 1960s there.
Yeah, and Otis Redding did it too, actually.
Oh yeah, no surprise there. But then Otis Redding, as we mentioned in on another episode earlier on, he also did his version of
Yeah,
"Try," which was also done by Three Dog Night. Also, "Satisfaction" from the Rolling Stones.
yeah,
Gosh, yeah,
yeah,
everybody did one songs.
yeah. Then another one was done by Percy Faith,
Oh,
theme from A Summer Place.
oh yeah,
You'd know that one if you heard it.
I think so. May have, yeah.
Then the Shadows, an instrumental group from England,
Oh
had a
yeah.
song called Apache.
Oh my gosh, dude. Look on YouTube and look up Black Sabbath 1989 Apache. It's Tony Iommi, Neil Murray on bass, Cozy Powell on drums, recording their version of that song. And apparently that
Oh,
song
wow.
was a big
I haven't heard that.
I have. It's pretty damn good. You definitely check it out. It is pretty damn. They did that tune justice, pure justice. Of course, we cannot forget the incredible bongo band's version, which some of the beats was sampled by early rap records by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious
Right.
Five here and there. We all know that. MC Hammer sampled that beat for his song "Turn This Mother Out" from
Yeah, well,
1989.
that's a sampleable song.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's been used by even this group called Consolidated used it for one of their instrumentals just as well.
Yeah, yeah. Then you got Nut Rocker by B. Bumble and the Stingers,
Ah,
which was in a sense, a cover of the Nutcracker Suite, but
ah,
rocking. And of course, Emerson, Lake and Palmer did it on Pictures at an Exhibition as their
oh,
closing song.
oh yeah. I remember hearing I had that album as well, so I know how it goes, man.
Yeah, yeah. Then David Rose did a song called The Stripper.
Hmm.
and you had the Tornadoes do a song called "Telstar,"
I
which
don't
kind
think
of
I.
a space. You listen to it, you'll have heard it.
Oh wow.
It's
Yeah,
one of those kind of songs that you, oh yeah, I've heard that,
the
that sort of thing.
tornado. Yeah, just so many songs you hear in the past, you just never could click out who did it, and then you find out who did it. It's like, oh wow.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Then you've got, of course, Herb Alpert and the Tijuana
Tijuana
Brass.
Brass. Oh yeah, my dad had
They
a
had a
couple.
bunch of them.
Oh man, my dad had one of his records there. I think it was called Going Places there. And it was a I listened to it a few times there. And let's not forget, Herb Alpert was one of the guys along with his boy Jerry Moss. They're the ones responsible for the record label A&M Records.
Right, right,
Yes, which would later sign them, um, Nazareth, Sergio Mendes in Brazil '66. Of course, Peter Frampton, Humble Pie, The
right.
Police with Sting, Stuart Copeland, and Andy Summers, and a whole bunch of others.
Yeah,
Rita Coolidge, Sean Phillips, a folk singer.
and you could list a bunch of stuff they did that were popular. You had a Taste of Honey, Tijuana Taxi,
Yep,
Spanish
I remember
Flea.
that.
Uh, Off the top of my head, I can't recall any others.
And who cannot forget that one album cover with the girl sitting in
Oh yeah,
whipped cream, licking it, whipped cream and other delights. Now, what teenage horny kid out there did not get horny from seeing that album cover?
yep, one of my favorite.
On it, along with the Nancy Sinatra album cover for her disc Sugar,
Yeah,
which she's in that pink bikini there.
right.
Yeah,
And well, there are others.
yeah.
Carly Simon, the
Wow, Carly.
the oh, I don't remember the name of the album. It was the one with "You're So Vain" on it.
Oh yeah, No Secrets, I think it was.
I think that's correct.
Oh yeah,
But she's pretty much out there for everybody to see.
oh yeah. The one, the one is that the one where she's wearing a hat and a long sleeve sweater like shirt, or was this a different cover?
I think that's the one. But like I said, you could pretty much see everything.
All right, let me look it up here.
And while you're doing that, I'll move on to
Go right ahead.
Paul Marriott, "Love Is Blue,"
Ah,
and then one of my favorites of all time, Hugo Montenegro and his version of "The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly."
oh yeah, we all know that song like the back of our hand. Metallica's opening theme music from the start, from 1983 up to this present, still used to this very day. There,
Well, I thought they were using "The Ecstasy of Gold."
they were. Oh yeah, they were using that. That's right. You got there. Yeah, I thought you were talking. I got confused there. My bad, folks. Yeah,
Well,
I'm
"The
looking
Good, the
at.
Bad, and the Ugly" is the opening theme for "The Good, the Bad, the Ugly,"
Oh yeah.
which actually that soundtrack should have been on my list.
Oh yeah.
I forgot all about it. That's a
Yeah.
great soundtrack.
Yeah. I know. It's like some of those stuff that those westerns at that time had some pretty damn good music there when you think about it.
Oh yeah, that particular album with Hugo Montenegro also has his
Hmm.
version of "A Fistful of Dollars and for a Few Dollars More,"
Oh.
which are
Oh.
actually pretty good.
Yep. With old Clint there in starring role there.
Yeah, yeah,
And if it's to say that those kind of movies roles, helped made Eastwood a big star, I guess you would say. That's what gave him his name in the Hollywood
right,
circuit there.
right.
And by the way,
And
I'm looking at the Carly Simon album cover, and I see what you're talking about. Her nipples are sticking out, as you can see there.
oh yeah, the, and then you got
And
Hugh
also the
Mass.
out. Oh, sorry about that. I'm also looking at the outtakes just as well there.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of it. There's a lot of outtakes. There were a lot of outtakes for Abbey Road. There was outtakes for the original Yesterday and Today covers.
oh yeah,
Covers for the Ozzy's two first solo discs there, Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Then then you have Linda Ronstadt's "Hasten Down the Wind" album cover.
Ah, yeah. Hasten Down the Wind there. I got to look that on. Linda Ronstadt. Hasten Down the Wind, I guess it is called.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay, I'm looking at it around right now. I'm going to look at there. Yeah, I see that there. I see she's got ex- not necessary, but she got hard nipples as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Then
no.
you got Bebop Deluxe Sunburst Finish.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that album cover.
Then can't remember. Roxy Music had one, and I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, Country Life. You're talking about that album cover there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that was that definitely had to be changed because the two women on there were wearing see-through lingerie.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, back to the instrumentals.
Yep.
Our next one I got is "Grazing in the Grass" by You Masekela,
Mhm.
and then one that's going to be kind of unusual in a way because you
Yep.
don't expect this. Albatross, Fleetwood Mac.
Ah, interesting. They did release an album called. That's interesting there because
Well,
not many.
this is during their first before Buckingham Nicks joined.
Yeah.
When, I think it was even before Peter Green.
Oh.
I don't remember, but it's a pure instrumental.
Mm.
It's a great song though. Then Henry Mancini did the love theme from Romeo and Juliet.
Oh yeah.
Then a group called Popcorn did a group called Hot Butter did
Oh.
Popcorn.
Is that electronic song? I believe it was.
Kind of. And I thought they should have followed it up with Baked Potato, but hey, that's a personal opinion.
Yeah, but I think I've heard Popcorn. A couple
You
times on
probably have.
YouTube. I think I have. Yes, it was like one of the lists of the pre-electronica songs. Prior to
Right.
Tangerine Dream. All this stuff, whether it's David Guetta or all these techno DJs and dance artists out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, well, until you get into the 70s, it pretty much covers the big instrumentals.
Yes.
Of course, you got Frankenstein in the 70s, but
Oh yeah. For Edgar
we'll get
Winter
to that one.
Group.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
Yep.
And unless you got any others, I pretty much covers what I know
Well,
about
some
instrumentals.
there was a few instrument. There was
Well,
well,
there were others that were in the surf music, and I was going to do them in the surf music.
yeah, definitely a lot of. So we got to mention one instrumental guitarist out there, Dick Dale, who is
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
yep, because he's like one of the pioneers of the surf rock music genre there.
Right.
So
Yeah,
he's
him and the Safaris who did Wipeout.
oh yeah, who cannot forget that? I remember Dweezil Zappa, Frank's son, did a cover of that song. And I think Herman Rarebell from the Scorpions, the drummer for that group, he did his version up there with a heavy metal version for an album he released it called Herman Z German. I think it was in 1985 or 86, I believe there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Then, of course, you got Pipeline by the Shantays.
Uh-huh. I don't think I heard that one there. I don't think
All you do is pull it up and listen to it, and you go, oh, yeah,
Pipeline.
I know that song.
All right. All right. Definitely check that out there. 86, I believe there.
And then you get into the vocal surf, which we'll get to them, but you got the Beach Boys and Jan and Dean are the main ones, but you got a lot
Yes.
of others too. And you also had things like Surfing Bird by Trashman.
Oh my gosh, dude, that was when we think of that song now, we think of that episodes of Family Guy where Peter Griffin's doing his version there.
Yeah,
I'm surprised when that song was being used, or his version, didn't make it big back on the charts because of that. Because it worked with Twist and Shout with the Beatles version, thanks to Ferris Bueller's Day Off in '86.
yeah. And it's
And,
funny because there was a lot of one-hit wonders of the Surf and Hot Rod
Yeah.
for some reason, which I really don't know why.
It's kind of mind-boggling about that one because many of these acts recorded many other albums other than the main hits ones that
Oh,
the
probably so, but
yeah.
they never got played.
Yeah.
Uh, One that I can think of is the Rivieras with California Sun.
Um,
Then you got Ronnie and the Daytonas did GTO.
yeah. GTO named after the automobile, if I'm correct.
Oh yeah, well
Uh,
we're kind of getting into Odd Rod.
hmm
Then you got the Ripcords with Hey Little Cobra, and a group called the Hondas released its own. Well, they did a cover of Little Honda by the Beach Boys.
yeah. So the Beach Boys were kind of like the Beatles in terms of surf music, I guess you could say there.
In a sense, surf and hot rod because they did both. Of
That's
course, the
true.
Beach Boys got into a lot of other things too, but
That's
surf and
true.
hot rods what they started with, and they went into psychedelia. I mean, they covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they did. They could release other albums. They even put their own record label titled Brother Records, what I understand.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But the question is, were they still selling records like gangbusters when they made it into that transition? Or were they
I
still.
don't know where that occurred because well, they're still kind of going today, from what I understand, which is kind of unexpected.
Yeah,
But
but even though it's probably just one original member, because there's kind of like a lawsuit between former band members, whether it's Al Jardine and Mike Love and a couple others there, I
well,
guess.
Dennis Wilson's dead. Carl Wilson doesn't play anymore,
Wow.
and there's Brian.
Brian
And
Wilson.
I don't know if Brian's still in the group or not, but heck, without Brian Wilson, there wouldn't be any Beach Boys.
That's true there. He was like the creative mastermind behind those earlier
Yeah,
recordings there. And sadly, I guess his mental health, along with the drugs that he was doing, kind of screwed him up there. For how many years there he was out of the limelight until this Eugene Landy came along and kind of like got him going again. Like watching his every move and making sure he was doing the right things, such and such and
right,
such.
right.
But then again, I guess Landy later on lost his license because of something that he did apparently. So I
Yeah,
guess right now there was a lawsuit, to get his earnings. I guess, from what I understand. I don't really know the full details. This was way back I
right,
guess in
right.
either 90s or early 80s there. But Brian Wilson kind of like he kind of like gave himself a became big comeback when you think about it because he
Yeah,
released this one record that was supposed to have been a Beach Boys album, but for some reason got shelved.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of an interesting path with him because there was a period of time, as I remember, where he kind of fell out of things and spent all of his time in his room.
Yeah, getting bloated, dazed out of his mind, hearing everywhere.
Yeah,
In fact, there was a song written about him his two by his two daughters, Wendy and Carney, who of course,
yeah.
as you know, would later, along with China Phillips, will form Wilson
Wilson.
Phillips.
Right, right. Yeah, it's kind of for a while a sad situation, but he got over it and
Yeah,
got back into things, which was good because Brian's a talent. I mean, he really is.
yeah, and plus it had to get rid of Eugene Landy, because apparently he started out good, and apparently for what we understood became a controlling, manipulative SOB. For what I understand.
It happens, I suppose.
It
Yeah,
does like that. That's why Aerosmith had to get rid of one of their managers because he became the exact same thing there.
yeah, and of course, Grand Funk had their little thing.
Yeah, Terry Knight. He was. Yeah, sadly, he became a schmo just as well. A lot of managers became and overlookers became schmoes. That idea of control be one group and one other person kind of gets in their head, for I understand.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I got a couple of lists here.
Yeah.
I guess we can start. Let's start with Jan and Dean.
Okay, there. Probably one of the bigger success stories, especially with one of the members. Which one was it? Jan himself or
Jan
Dean?
Berry,
Jan Berry. After getting involved in that car wreck, it took a while for him to actually perform again.
right. And when he did, he came back relatively strong, I suppose.
I know, yeah, I guess so. But I guess he got into drugs for a while there. I guess, and I guess he cleaned himself up and he said, you know what? But at the same time, when you speak to him, when he talks, you could tell that something had happened to him because of the way he speaks. Because he kind of speaks a little bit slow now, like he
Right.
always did. He speaks a bit very slow and any way you wanted to. And then when we got into the studio, but then again, that cannot be helped because of the car wreck.
Right. Right. It just impaired him somewhat.
It did.
Now I've only got a top 10 for these guys, but I think they're worth listening to.
Yep.
Number 10 is the flip side of Little Old Lady from Pasadena. It's a song called Anaheim Azuka Cucamonga Sewing Circle Book Review Timing Association. That's the title.
Wow, interesting one there.
It's actually abbreviated AACSBRTA most times.
Damn. And you thought you heard long titles before, but then again, you have not heard the Terrence Trent D'Arby album title after he made it big there. I have to look it up sometime because I'd read the whole title because man, that son of a gun is long.
Well, my favorite long title song is Pink Floyd. Several species of
Oh
small furry
man.
animals gathered
Oh
together in a
man.
cave, grooving on a pick.
Oh
I,
man, that is a trip to listen to, and that's no samplers. That came out in '69 there on the
yep,
Amagama album, and all that
yep,
was looped up tapes, repeating itself backwards, going to speed it up, slow down, you name it. That's all
yeah,
Roger Waters and his voice.
it's an interesting trip to listen to.
Well, more than a trip. If you're zoned out on the dope there, then you'll be flipping out most likely.
Yeah, number 9, I got's another flip side. It's actually the flip side, I believe, to Dead Man's Curve.
Mm.
New Girl in School.
Ah, nice one there.
It's a pretty neat little song.
Ah,
And number 8 is, I guess, their ode to tearjerkers. It's a song called A Beginning from an End.
wow. Which is a love ballad, I guess, about broken hearts, I guess.
Well, it's a love ballad about, well, I think you need to listen to it
All right.
and get the story because there is a story there.
Wow.
And number 7 I got is a song that Brian Wilson donated to Jan and Dean,
Ah.
Surf City.
Oh, yeah. And that's the one with two girls for every boy.
Right.
Oh, man. That would be a dream come true to a high school teenager, especially the nerdy kind who can't get no chicks. That would be their ultimate dream at that point.
Right.
Of course, that's
Number
any
6.
guy. That's any guy's
Well,
dream when you
yeah,
think
when you get
about
down.
it. Yeah.
Number 6 was Sidewalk Surfing, which we all know, sidewalk surfing is.
Oh, yeah. Roller skating, I
Basically,
think.
yeah.
Yep.
Number 5 is a song called You Really Know How to Hurt a Guy.
Wow. Dedicated to that one lover of theirs who screws them over.
Yeah. Number 4 I got a song called From All Over the World, which is their kind of, I forgot what festival they were singing about, but they were singing about a festival.
A rock concert festival, I guess.
Right, right.
Well, what year they came out there? Because the one that the most there were the festivals everybody know was Monterey Pop Festival,
Well, it's
Woodstock.
before all of those because it has Leslie Gore in it, and she wasn't in
Oh
any of the
wow!
others.
Oh wow! That's
Well,
something
they
there.
mention her. I don't mean that she was in.
Yeah, because the ones I know of were like Almont, Woodstock, Monterey
Right.
Pop.
And I told you about the Texas one.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, last week, look it up, folks. There was a great festival featuring a lot of good groups up there that Arky here attended there.
Well, I didn't go to it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. My bad. Duh.
Well, I wished I could have, but I couldn't work it out.
Ah,
Number 3, I got to Ride the Wild Surf. which you'll know from the line, "Got to take that one last ride."
Yep. And one last little ride, before he hangs it up, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And then number two, I got "Little Old Lady from Pasadena."
Oh gosh, that was always a trip title there. Because when we think of that, we think of some old lady behind the wheel of a hot rod going speedy down a school zone in the intersection there. Bzzz,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
that's
That's
what I
kind of
guess
the
that's basically what the song's about.
pretty much. It's about, hey, excuse me. Yeah, it's pretty much. That's pretty much a good description of that song.
You dumb whippersnappers with your automobiles. Let's see you accelerate to this speed. Oh
Yeah, and then number one for me is "Dead Man's Curve."
yeah, and that's so what. For I understand, that was the actual curb where a lot of people had a lot of accidents. So I understand where the
Yeah,
Jan Barry had his issue, had that accident of his.
yeah. I think it's pretty close to there, actually. Yeah,
Wow, man.
yeah. When I was in a group, I always joked that we should do uh, "Last Kiss," the one where the girlfriend dies,
Wow,
and I forgot the name of the other song, but it was the one where the singer of the song dies,
wow,
and then "The Dead Man's Curve" where the stranger dies,
wow,
and then follow it up with "Blood Rock's DOA" where everybody dies.
man. Dan, that's probably the you call that the death show when you look at it there.
Yeah. Oh, "Tell Laura I Love Her." That was
Wow.
the other one.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah.
The protagonist, singer, whatever,
Yes.
was the one that perished.
Wow, that's a trip, man. It's sad in
Yeah.
a way. It's sad. It's sad in a lot of ways when you think about it. There.
Well, it's amazing how many death songs are out there.
I know.
I could probably think of several more if I had the time to do it.
Wow.
Didn't occur to me to cover that one.
Well.
But that's pretty much my Jan and Dean list. I had a couple, three songs that I didn't put on the list, but they're decent in their own right. Linda, "I Found a Girl," then a couple of, I guess, for lack of a better term, semi goofy ones. Their version of Batman, but not the theme. They sing about Batman.
Ah, I see there. So they added lyrics to it there, or there was originally lyrics
They
in the original cut.
Well, their version's different, but it's about Batman.
Ah.
And then did another song called "Popsicle," which is about popsicles.
Of course. One of the all-time summer treats of all time there.
Yeah, I kind of guess if you're doing surf, which is summer treat, then you got to follow up with "Popsicle."
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man. And then I got a top 20 for the Beach Boys,
Okay, go right ahead.
and it was kind of hard to do this because they got more than 20 songs worth mentioning. My number 20 is "Surfing USA,"
Oh yeah.
and my number 19 is on this list somewhere. Oh, there it is. "Heroes and Villains," which is a neat little song, more recent. Number 18 is "The Little Girl I Once Knew." Number 17 is "Help Me, Rhonda."
Oh yeah.
16, "Surfer Girl," which is a nice ballad.
Oh yeah. Surfer girl. Now, anybody could tell you when you see a surfer girl with a bikini on, you cannot help but be you cannot help. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. You cannot help but have absolute admiration for her because of the body, the bikini, and the fact that she's a surfer as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Number 15, I got "Warmth of the Sun."
I
It had a pretty decent amount of ballads.
Yeah.
And then number 14, I had "Don't Worry Baby," which is the flip side of "I Get Around."
Ah.
And 13, I got "Windy."
Oh yeah, which is a pretty good song there. I remember hearing about people saying that there's some sort of a cough towards the end of the song there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of little things in the recordings that weren't taken out in
Yep.
these days.
Yeah, that's true.
Number 12, I got Caroline No, which is off the Pet Sounds album.
Ah, as we all know, was the album that helped inspired Sergeant Pepper.
Yeah, yeah. Number 11, I got a song called I Can Hear Music, which was a later song. And number 10 is Sail On Sailor.
Which is about, I guess, bucketeer. I guess you could say a sailor on the ship. I guess.
I think so. I'm not really sure what the subject is of that song, but that sounds about right.
Because is it an anti-war song? I'm thinking, because I'm thinking of something like the Navy heading to war or something like that.
It could very well be, actually.
Because you got to remember, a lot of groups out there had their own anti-war songs out there.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
th-
did you ever hear Golden Ribbons?
Golden Ribbons, is that by the Beach Boys?
No, no. That was the one I told you a couple of weeks ago. You and Jeebus
Oh,
by Loggins and Messina. That's another anti-war type
all
song.
right. Thank you for reminding me, man. I kind of forgot about that. I got to definitely check that out later on tonight
I
there after our broadcast.
I think you'd like it.
Oh,
Number
I,
9 is Do, and actually the cool thing of that song is they've got a guest vocalist who does a part towards the end. You'll recognize his voice immediately, but I'll go ahead and tell you it's Stephen Stills.
oh wow, interesting. You know, I'm thinking about this one Beach Boys song. It was like something like, I don't know if it's an anti-war song, but Gma, I wanna go home. I think that may be it.
Oh, Sloop John B.
Ah, yeah, that's it. That's it there, and that's
We'll
definitely
we'll get to that one.
absolute good. I got to hear about that one.
And then I got number 9 is a song called "Do It Again."
And not the Steely Dan song. Keep that in mind.
Right. Number 8 I got is "Wouldn't It Be Nice."
Oh yeah,
And number 7, David Lee Roth covered this song, "California."
California Girls. Yeah, which by the way still gets played by on this on the loudspeaker at our workplace there a lot of times there.
Yeah. Number 6 I got "Fun, Fun, Fun"
Until
till the
that
daddy
took the
gets.
T-bird away.
Yeah. And number 5 is kind of I guess, a teen anthem of sorts, "In My Room."
Ah,
Have you heard it?
and I don't think I have. May have not. I'm not too sure there.
Well, it's basically about there's a world where I can go and tell my secrets to in my room.
Ah, I see
You
there.
know, it's basically something like that. It's pretty good.
Kind of like their own safe place, I guess you could say
Right,
there.
right.
Yeah.
And then number 4, I got "I Get Around,"
Oh yeah, of course. We all know that like the back of our hands.
which was ironically, I believe, the first single I ever bought.
Cool.
That's how come I knew "Don't Worry Baby" was on the flip.
That's true. Nice there.
It was either that album or album. It was either that single or "She Loves You." 'Cause I got them both around the same time.
She Loves You by the Beatles.
Right.
Yeah.
And close to that, I got "I Fought the Law" by Bobby Fuller.
Oh yeah. We still one of these days got to take a look at what happened with him there and how he perished there. Because
Yeah, because
there's a big mystery surrounding him as well.
yeah, it's not definite. You know, it's one of those things that they say this, but it just doesn't seem
Add
right.
up. It doesn't add up when you think
Right.
about it there. One of those great rock and roll mysteries.
Yeah. Then number 3, I got "Sloop John B," which is the one you just talked about.
Yep.
Number 2, I've got a song that you're probably familiar with, "God Only Knows,"
Yep, I think so. Yeah, I remember hearing that a couple of times, if I
which I
remember
read
right.
somewhere, and I don't know how true it is, but I read somewhere that this was the first song, rock and roll type anyway,
Oh,
that mentioned God in the title
um,
or mentioned him in the song.
so basically, it's like a Christian themed
Well,
song there.
Not really, not really. It's kind of just an expression,
Ah,
like it's kind of like, well, God only knows where it'd be without you. I mean, that's what it is basically.
I see there.
And then my number one song, you probably, if you don't know, can figure it out pretty quick.
Let me guess. Good vibrations.
Absolutely.
Yep, no problem. And because of
Which
that,
was
go ahead.
their dive into psychedelia.
Something like there. I know there was that. Woo, I'm still trying to figure out what that kind of that contraction is that one of them played there. It was just sort of like what was that thing there? It was kind of like a keyboard in a way, but
Yeah, and it wasn't a mellotron.
no, it wasn't, and it wasn't a theremin or whatever it was called there either. There,
No, I'm not sure what that was because I know it wasn't a Moog either, or Moog or whatever it's called.
Moog synthesizer.
Yeah, it wasn't any of that either.
Right.
Because legend has it, and I don't know how true it is, that the first time that the Moog was used in rock was "Daily Nightly" by the Monkees.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that song. That was featured on an album of theirs. I think it was called Capricorn, PCs, and Jones Limited. I think it was there.
I
Because
believe that's correct.
yeah, because when that was talked about on the sticker of that album. Was the first album to feature the use of the synthesizer there.
It's funny. Everybody downgrades the Monkees, but they were actually quite innovative in a lot of the things they do.
Yeah.
But but we'll get to the Monkees.
We got to talk about them definitely because I used to watch the show on syndication. Excuse me, there back in when I was a kid. There, learning about rock and roll and everything else. They were like, they did actually hung around with the Beatles a couple of times there, and was probably
Yeah,
rightfully so because they were modeled after the Beatles after the success of Hard Day's Night there.
yeah, and actually, I watched the show when first run.
And they also got to get a lot of good music came out of there as well. There.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll have a Monkees list when we get to it because I've already done it.
Absolutely, yeah. You also got to talk about the TV show and how zany that was, compared to.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, I got to see it first
In
run.
fact, by the way, I guess it fits to say that the Monkees were, would you say, the first boy band when you think about it?
Kind of, but they don't fit a true boy band.
No, because
Like
most boy bands just get up there, sing, dance, and not play instruments, whereas Monkees actually did. Peter
right.
Tork and Mike Nesmith, played instruments. Mickey Dolenz, I don't know if he was a real drummer or not, but Davy Jones did release an album on his own, prior to joining. In
Right.
fact, he's credited as the main reason why the other David Jones changed his last name to Bowie.
Yeah, it's funny because it was an interview somewhere. I'm not real sure where with one of them that said if they were truly playing what they could play best, Davy Jones would be the drummer
Mm,
because he could play drums.
wow,
Peter Tork would be the guitarist. Mike Nesmith would be the one playing bass,
wow,
and Mickey Dolenz would be the front guy.
ah. And he was a good singer, by the way. You got to give him
Oh,
his due there.
of the four, he was probably the best.
Yeah, he was also a good director as well. He directed a couple episodes of that series there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was probably well. When we get to him, you're going to find
The
that a lot
more
of my
zany,
list.
he was mostly the more zanier
Oh
of the
yeah,
quartet there.
absolutely.
He was absolutely. You watch those old episodes, you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he was definitely the out there guy.
Yeah, he was, man. Now, speaking of the Beach Boys, I talked about this, legal issue here, and basically there was a lawsuit over an album called Smile, which was released in
Right,
2004 by, of course, Brian Wilson.
right.
Now, there was a former Beach Boy, Mike Love, sued his former bandmate and cousin Brian over that album. Now, according to Mike Love, Love, he said, purports that Wilson's promotion of that album misused his likeness, music, and the Beach Boys name. To quote directly from his filing, Love says Wilson, quote unquote, shamelessly mis what's it called, misappropriated Mike Love's songs likeness and the Beach Boys trademark, as well as the Smile album itself. One of the issues of the heart of this squabble seems to be the '66 hit Good Vibrations, which on Love appeared as lead vocalist. Now,
Right.
Love, who shares songwriting credit with Wilson on Good Vibrations, contributed to the lyrics to the song, which became the biggest hit for the group. However, earlier recordings exist of a version with lyrics by Wilson's Pet's songwriting partner Tony Asher, who co-wrote Pet Sounds. When Wilson retooled Good Vibrations for the 2004 version of A Smile, he used Asher's original lyrics. Now, the Smile album is very checkered, the history behind it. It's near legendary. Wilson conceived the music for the album in '66. It was supposed to be his most ambitious work ever. He intended to take the direction of Pet Sounds, regarded as a masterpiece, to a new level of creative, distinction, I guess you could say, using
Right.
advanced production techniques to leak new songs, new sounds, and themes as he explored in Good Vibrations, which cost him an unprecedented $50,000 to produce, which was unheard at that period of time. It was considered the first major pop concept album, which Wilson called his teenage sympathy to God. It was an
Mm.
artistic leap, both musically and conceptually, a stark departure, but it didn't fit with the rest of the group. Sun, sand, and tanning formula and image, and for a number of reasons, including internal tensions within the group itself, and plus the problems that Wilson was going through. The completion of the album was repeatedly postponed until it was finally abandoned and shelved, regarded as a would be a classic, but got lost. And
Yeah,
finally,
they released an album later
yeah,
that kind of played on that, and I think it was a double set. It may not have been.
maybe.
Friends and Smiley Smile.
Um, yes, I remember Smiley Smile. I remember seeing the album cover. That's when he started getting into the psychedelic stuff there.
Right.
In fact, around that time, they were doing a lot of performances at this German program called Beat Club, I guess it was, out of somewhere in either Germany or somewhere around the European regions there. It's kind of funny seeing the Beach Boys wearing this psychedelic dress over there with all this long hair and this long ass beard, looking like hippies, playing surf music
Yeah.
with some sort of like a you know what I'm talking. You look up Surfing USA, the Beat Club version of that video, and you see what I'm talking about there. Now, Wilson
Yeah.
decided this.
Suffice to say,
Go ahead.
the Beach Boys explored a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
They
that's
did a
true.
lot of things. They touched on a lot of genres.
That's true there. Now, in 2000, back to the Smile album saga here. Wilson decided to complete the album throughout 2004 at last and release it on his own. He recorded it in its entirety with the help of a young Los Angeles pop group called the Wonder Mits and a 19-piece orchestra. Upon its release,
Wow.
Smile quickly earned international acclaim and sold millions of copies. And the success of that album marked the beginning of a major comeback for the reclusive and troubled Wilson. And now Mike Love is suing him is because was sued him around that time because he was kind of soured by the remake of Good Vibrations. Money Matters could be the reason why Love was at odds with his cuz. Now, in the lawsuit
Right.
there, Love said that while promoting the Smile album, Wilson handed out 2.6 million copies of a Beach Boys compilation CD to readers. Excuse me, there, of a British magazine called, Britain's Daily Mail. I guess it's a publication there. Love
Right.
contends that giveaway undercut the band's sales. He also claimed that Wilson had no rights to the CD to begin with, since Love owns the rights to the Beach Boys name and the exclusive legal right to the tour under the Beach Boys name there. So Mike Love is basically the Beach Boys, top and from start to finish here, I guess, because he owns the rights.
Yeah.
Because I remember him and Al
Yeah. Funny
Jardine had
how
a
that happens.
yeah, because him and Al Jardine were at odds at one another there for a while there. And others have speculated that Love's lawsuit is an effort to pressure Wilson into allowing Love to continue to tour under the Beach Boys name unchallenged. Now, while Wilson himself is not touring as a Beach Boy, there is some question about him having the rights to distribute the band's music. Now, the lawsuit, which was which was fought in the Los Angeles federal court back in I guess in 2000. I guess it was in. I'm not too sure when this was done there, but it was a long while ago. I guess.
Right.
Now, the lawsuit seeks to
Go
at
ahead.
least about $1 million to correct the efforts of unfair competition and infringing uses in millions of illicit profits. Now, in spite of all this, the lawyer representing Mike Love insists that the two are still on good terms and have a cordial relationship. Now, the
Cordial.
attorney,
Yeah.
cordial, yes. Now, the attorney claims that the lawsuit is quote unquote nothing personal, but he says there is a problem with some Wilson's associates promoting the album. Now, the lawyer maintains that the two remain friendly and the co-founders of an important band in rock and roll history. Now, Nora Wilson or his attorney did comment on this, leading us to comment about the whole dispute, which may be a publicity stunt to stimulate sales. Love formed the Beach Boys along with Wilson, his late brothers Carl and Dennis, and friend Al Jardine in California back in '61. They achieved fame with all the songs that we have mentioned here. You know, Jardine has his own group called Endless Summer featuring Al Jardine, and who knows? Now, I'm not too sure what this article was dated. It may have been dated about a couple of years back there, but it shows how much what's going. It shows basically what's goes on with a lot of these bands today regarding copyrights and this and that here regarding
Yeah.
songs, production wise. And shout out to Casey as Raw, the current monetizes champion in the chat here. Call up Casey if you wish to, dude. We'll add you in, or let me know in the chat if you want me to add you to the call. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm not too sure. I think the Serpents. I know Serpent still goes on in California. I don't know if it's been doing a lot lately because of the coronavirus this last year. But
Who knows? They've banned so many things, it's hard to tell.
I know. I know there's a talk about people going to beaches here and there, and then a couple of times, the corona hit some of those people as well here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I was checking out a lot of surfer girls out there on the Google Images up there, checking them out, and nowadays, you got to give it up to all these surfers out there because, it's kind of a dangerous thing to do when you think about it there.
Yeah, it really is, actually.
Because who knows, a big tidal wave could hit you and you could drown right then and there. And of course, you never know when you're going to be attacked by a shark. Regarding that one female surfer whose name escapes me, but later became a subject of a movie there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Soul Serpent was the name of that movie there. I forgot the lady's name, but she became an icon after still continued to surf even though she has one arm there.
Right.
In fact, I think you remember this. You remember the Batman TV 1960s series? They even touched on this surfing craze because they had a scene where Batman and the Joker were surfing alongside each
Hey,
other in a competition. Oh my gosh. Can you believe it or not?
Yeah, it's Batman exploited a few things.
Yeah, that's true there. But then again, a lot of TV shows at that time, a lot of TV shows in general exploit the things that are currently trending, whether it's surfing or alternative music or phrases or catchphrases here and there. They always do that, you know.
Absolutely.
They do it there. All right, so this is what I want to get to there. Now, now I don't have TikTok, and you don't. Do you have TikTok,
I
Ark?
I don't use TikTok. I don't mess with TikTok.
Yeah, no, I've really used them. I never really signed up for TikTok. Now I know a couple people have used TikTok a lot of times. You know, Tommy NC 2010 has one. Foulmouth Ken for Foulmouth Network. Shout out to him. He has one just as well. I have yet to do one because I'm kind of reluctant to because of the fact that I heard that some of your information there when you sign up goes over to China and such. You know, and I'm
Yeah, I've
kind of
heard that too.
yeah, I don't need my information going to some dumb country, trying to later try to sell me stupid shit through my Gmail
Right.
and all that bullshit there. But apparently, there was a TikTok video of a Hispanic guy roller skating, filming himself while he's drinking a little bit of juice here and there. And the song that played alongside it, I guess it was added in later on, it was the song Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Now, we know this song. It was written by Stevie Nicks. It's one of her signature songs. It's from the album Rumors.
Right.
Won a Grammy for Album of the Year, beating out Hotel California by the Eagles. One of the most iconic songs and albums that go along with it. And one of those songs of theirs that will not die, along with anything from the Rumors album, whether it's The Chain or Go Your Own Way.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the TikTok video for that went so viral on social media that there was a company called BMG, which basically buys up a lot of publishing rights, and helps distribute it. Labels like Arista and RCA in the past. They have snapped up the rights to most of the music that Fleetwood Mac had made throughout the years. After the Dreams video became a big hit on TikTok. Now, BMG acquired drummer Mick Fleetwood and co founder royalty interests in more than 300 recordings, including Landslide, Go Your Own Way, according to a statement this past Thursday. Terms of the deal were not disclosed. Now, Dreams, as we know, shot on the charts back onto the charts after a video of the man skateboarding on a highway while drinking raspberry juice and lip syncing to the song became a big social media sensation in about 8 weeks. It generated about 2.8 billion views on TikTok, was streamed about 182 million times, and helped sell 86,000 Fleetwood Mac albums in the States. And of course, we know that album, Rumors.
Right.
Yes. And it's a TikToker in the excuse me there. Let me get myself there. Now,
Right.
the person who did this was a man named Drew Frogger, or Drew Frog, as he's often called on Twitter there. Now, the values of songs and recordings have soared in recent recordings, excuse me, I'm getting fucking tongue tied here. I gotta slow down, dude. Now, let me try this again. The values of the songs and recordings from yesteryear has soared in recent years after streaming dragged the music industry out of a big ass slump. And a lot of the recent sign-ups to platforms like Amazon Music, Spotify are older users who want to listen to the hits when they were younger. Now, the BMG
Right.
deal is the latest of a flurry of music rights acquisitions as artists cut off from touring look to raise cash. Because remember, there's no artists out there on the road right now. There's nobody
Right.
performing other than Brad Paisley. That was a fucking drive-in concert where you'll view from your car there. or the top of your pickup or the back of your pickup truck there. But it's not the same as
Yeah,
being
Bob
together.
Dylan sold his catalog too.
Yeah, I know. A lot of artists are doing this thanks to this
Yeah,
COVID-19 bullshit there.
yeah,
Now, an M&A executive at BMG made a statement saying this acquisition highlights the value of timeless recordings in a streaming market which is increasingly benefiting established rather than newer artists. Now, private inquiry from a KKR and Company said this week that it bought a major stake in the music catalog of the group One Republic and some of their songs, which their singer wrote with artists including Beyonce, Adele, U2. Hypnosis Songs Fund Limited earlier this month acquired the rights to the discographies of folk and songwriter Neil Young and Colombian pop star Shakira. Last year, 60s icon Bob Dylan sold his music rights to Universal Music Group, UMG. I just mentioned that there. Now, Fleetwood Mac
yeah,
had released lots of albums there prior to the Buckingham Nicks lineup
yeah.
there.
They always talk about Deep Purple with their marks. Mark 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Fleetwood Mac went through that too.
Yes, absolutely. But they don't. But right now there's a compilation out there, their greatest hits, a collection there, and it's also spotlighting the earlier songs they had with Bob Welch, Peter Green, and a couple others as well. Those songs need to be looked at as well by the today's market, especially Oh Well Parts 1 and 2.
Oh, that's a fabulous song.
Absolutely, especially part two, because when I first heard that, it was raining outside. It was at a neighbor's house. It was like, wow, this is like a good, bad, and ugly on its own there when you think about it.
Yeah, it's kind of close to Albatross, but not the same.
Yeah, but
Albatross uses a lot of slide guitar.
oh yeah, because remember, yeah, and I'm sure they probably required about the song rights to the song "Hypnotized," which featured Bob
Oh,
Welch, rest
wow.
in peace.
That's
There,
another good one.
great song there. Great song. And I'm sure they probably bought the rights to the original Sentimental Lady that they did prior to Bob Welch leaving and re recording it for his record there.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
now of course, Fleetwood Mac abducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1998. Yeah, just still they just got done doing the tour without Lindsey Buckingham, but in this place were two guitar players, Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and of course Neil Finn from both Split Ends and Crowded House. That was probably one of the most diverse tours they ever did because not only did they include Free Fallin' from Tom Petty and Tom's Honor, but he also did two songs the songs that Neil Finn did with both Split Ends and Crowded House. I got, I got you and Don't Dream It's Over.
Yeah.
Absolutely there. Now, if they're going to get back together with Lindsey Buckingham in the future is anybody's guess there. So who knows?
Well, I know Lindsey Buckingham was obviously a huge part of that group.
Oh, he was, yeah. A lot of I saw this meme on Facebook not too long ago praising Nix for her contributions, and basically they're talking about the heartache songs that Taylor Swift did. She just sang about them, about this guy breaking her heart, blah blah blah. The meme says simply, Nix not only wrote the song but also made the guy who broke her heart play on the song just as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course we know his name, Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah. Of course, from what I understand, Nick's dallied with all the males in that group.
Oh, really? Yeah, sure. And it's no secret now that her and Mick Fleetwood had a relationship for a while there. In fact, I guess you could probably say, people talk about, the making of that album. There was a lot of turmoil. Nixon Buckingham broke up. The McVies were breaking up their marriage. Mick Fleetwood, his, love life was in shambles just as well there. He found
Yeah.
out his best friend was dating his wife. So, But then again, when you think about it, if you didn't have all those that turmoil, if you didn't have all that commotion going on, those
Subject for
songs,
songs.
yeah, all those songs like The Chain, Go Your Own Way, Never Going Back, you know, would never emerge. Or Gold
Yeah,
Dust Woman.
yeah. I mean, you can kind of look at a lot of their songs and you can see the breakups involved.
Yeah, absolutely there.
They had a song that was supposed to be on either the Fleetwood Mac or the Rumors album called
Silver Sp-
Silver Springs.
Yes, I remember that. There was a reissue. There was a reissue. There was a excuse me there. There was a reissue in 2004. I remember buying my sister the double disc for that one, and they included that song on the first disc where it was supposed to have been. I guess it was supposed to have
Great
been on.
song.
Yeah, it is absolutely, and that's where the "I follow you to the sound of my voice will haunt you." That's a
Yeah,
very interesting little line up there, and I guess it became a song, a B side to some other single, I guess, from that album, if I'm correct.
I think that's right.
Yeah,
And actually, pretty much all the songs, that should have been the A song side.
yeah,
Of course, that's a personal preference. I really
it
like
is.
that song.
Yeah, it is. It is a good song, I will say. I remember me and my sister and her boyfriend at the time went and checked out Stevie Nicks at the Joe Louis Arena back in 1983. When she was touring for her record, Wild Heart there.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a pretty good show there. I will give her credit there.
Edge of 17, Stand Back.
And they still play that on a lot of those songs still get played on supermarket radios when you really think about it, like Radio Walmart and such, at HEB here in Texas and Kroger's, everywhere else there. So no doubt they're still earning royalty money from the writing and publishing just as well. Let's keep that in mind there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. So let's see here. I'm going to see Casey. Let me know if you would want to be added to the show, to the program here. If you want, I got something to. Let me check if he is available by chance. Because I'd like to bring in, see how he's doing. We haven't heard from him in a long while there.
That's right.
With Devious Dave, Danny MT from Ken. I guess he's going to go live pretty soon with his program. Let's see here. Simo, Chris Moore, not interested in talking to him. Not right now. Nah, he's not online, unfortunately, there. Blah, blah, blah.
Who, Casey?
Yeah, and I guess he's not on Skype, I guess, right now, currently. So, so interesting enough, a song gets viral on TikTok, and all of a sudden, boom, you have a rejuvenation. In fact, a lot of old artists have been rejuvenated on thanks to on streaming services, I guess, like Amazon and Spotify and such,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
now because of the coronavirus, people are unable to go out and do things or unable to work at that time period. They got to do something to listen to some music here. But at the same time, they're still wishing that they could go see live performances once more.
Well, I'm hoping that these shows, even though we have a limited amount of listeners,
Yeah,
will contribute somewhat to that because
absolutely.
we're trying to tell you guys it's good stuff and you're missing it.
Yep, you need to put aside, your stuff like Imagine Dragons. You need to put aside Adele. You need to put aside this artist, and check out what came before, folks.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, I think I mentioned this before. There would be no Kiss, no Marilyn Manson, no Alice Cooper, without artists like The Crazy World of Arthur Brown and Screaming Jay Hawkins. Pronto.
Right.
All right, there.
It's
That's about it, I guess. I think that's it for our episode there, I guess.
yeah, and if we get together tomorrow night, which I guess we will,
I
uh,
gotta check my schedule here. Let me go to my phone here because I have my schedule. I think may start at I think it'll be working tomorrow there, but I need a blah blah blah. Let me check here.
Okay,
And we,
while you're doing that, our next show
yeah,
will be basically, well, I'm trying to decide between garage rock of the early '60s or what you might call America's answer to the British invasion.
yeah.
But that one's going to take a while because there's a lot of it.
Okay.
And America's answer to the British invasion are things like Paul Revere and the Raiders,
Yep.
the Monkees, things of that nature.
Yeah. I won't be able to make it tomorrow night because I work till about 9:30 and 9 on a Monday, but I'm off on Tuesday. So definitely
Okay.
we could do episode 25 and definitely for garage rock because there's a
Yeah,
lot of
let's do
good
garage rock.
absolutely because a lot of good bands came from that scene, bands like the Stooges from Ann Arbor, Michigan there.
Yeah, but we're talking more about the early '60s, like Music Machine, Standells,
Yep.
uh, people like that.
Yeah.
Count Five,
Yes.
Shadows of Night.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got to definitely talk about those that genre there. Yeah, and this is basically rock that came out of someone's garage when you think about it there.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
and that's basically a feed off of the British invasion and things of that nature. Because people are like, "Hey, they're doing it. Why can't we?"
Yep.
Bam, garage practice.
There you go. Absolutely there. So I guess we'll be doing that on this coming Tuesday night, same time, same stations here. And I guess that's it for today. I guess or tonight. I guess you could say.
Yep.
I guess Farmhouse Network will be on later on tonight. If I'm correct, I believe there should be a notification about a couple minutes or probably later on. I definitely want to go check that out, and maybe I'll call in whichever subject they're talking about there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Arknolia and myself, this has been episode 24 of Music Memories with myself and Arknolia Bean. And we look forward to hearing. We look forward to doing this again Tuesday night. Okay,
Sounds good to me.
7
All
p.m.
right.
Eastern time. All right. You guys have a good one. All right. Bye bye. All right. That was some good stuff.